visible until now. Both of those big names, they haven't cared about those, but they've kept level pacing. We're not even half distance, and they're just, with a beautiful, efficient technique, they're just beginning to keep steady and slowly make their way to the front.
And you can see that, as we said, are they bothered? No, they're not bothered, because the reality is that they've put their money on the fact that these three guys are going to go in and change skis, and that 20-second advantage that they took is going to very quickly evaporate. Chasing there in 16, that's oh, no, that's 10 actually, that's Roland Clara, good distance racer for Italy. He's got Chanusov behind him, and 69 there for Norway. That's Sveen, who's still ever present. 38 picking up ahead of 50. Now that's two of the Czechs there. That was Razim, and there's Peter Northug.
Well, if body language you can read, and I know he sometimes shows exhausted and then he'll go and win a race, but for me, those muscles are saying I'm really tired, help.
Well, he put a lot of effort into Drammen, and of course, psychologically, if he fails and Cologne gets the better of him, then Cologne is going to be the one going into Sweden with the higher positivity about the final phase of the cross-country World Cup for the season. 58 minutes, almost an hour of running now. 50 moving up on the outside there. That's another of the Czechs. That was Yeri Magal, very experienced. And they haven't quite caught these three.
The pace has been pretty relentless, David. It's not been an easy start for this first 1 hour, and it's going to run for you. It's certainly 2 hours, 5, 6 minutes. It has not been easy at all, and you would expect that it's still going to push even harder.
They're the two Norwegians. Legkoff is always there or thereabouts. Cologne not far away now. And Cologne, in a funny sort of way, you expect him to fly the Swiss flag when these two guys go in and get their skis. I mean, that's what we're assuming. .4 kilometers.
This little climb, it's a brutal, steep little climb, reminiscent of the Val de Fiemme steep ones, but not nearly as long. So it's more gentle climbs today, but still reaching the same total climb.
So that 20 seconds cut back to less than 10 now. And there you can see Legjanin, Eliasson, some very decent racers in there, and you can see how closely they're packed. Just having a look to see where Rickardson might be. As I said, Musgrave going through there, 32 seconds off the pace, ahead of the likes of Chris Freeman and Rickardson, about 35 seconds off the pace. 34.4 in 39th place. So if Rickardson's going to be a factor, Mike, I would say that when they come out on the... He can't afford to lose any more time, Rickardson. He's either got to move on the next rotation or the one after. So they're far past the famous church.
David, what's really significant for me right now, Peter Northug barely ever lets himself outside of the top 20 in these long distance races. He's now position 34 and he's 31 seconds behind. He's got to be in trouble because the race now is beginning to run its own path and leaving his path on a different direction at the moment. But he is special, he can do anything. Most of the time he can do almost anything.
Yeah, I take your point, because the gap is being closed to the leaders there. The pace is on at the front, and the danger is that he becomes seriously detached. But as I say, you know, we're coming up now, you know, to complete only the third rotation. So, you know, we're 24.2 kilometers. We're 800 meters short of halfway.
It's amazing. And if you're suffering at halfway in a 50-kilometer race, it's the second half of that race when your muscles are even more depleted. It's painful, and the body just will not carry you up these steep hills at a fast pace. Revving up, ready to go for some people. I don't think we'll get that many coming in, but we'll have to wait and see.
Again, Mike, as it is in skiathlon, so it is in this race. When you've got the opportunity to change skis, it's something you have to practice. It's like penalties in football. I mean, you can really muck up and lose a lot of time.
You absolutely can. Of course, you'll leave your hands and your ski strapped into your ski straps, and generally the base of the boot, they're not clogged up with snow, so as long as you step into the new bindings exactly, clip the lever down, you're into the ski. But we see mistakes happening many times.
Wasn't it Legkov who had a ski disappear in front of him in the World Championships?
He saw it disappearing slowly. He was tying his other ski on and slowly it drifted away.
Yeah.
Not a good feeling.
So here they come up this back straight, and look at this for Indian Pal as they come up now. And is it the man from Belarus? Just trying to work out here. No, it's one of the Swiss. And here, leading the charge up here, this is Remo Fischer on the left of his screen. 9 on the right there, Sundby in the red. Shirota's there as well. Legkov, Colonia, and Kurdan Pearl. 35, another of the Russians getting involved now. That's Kokryakov, and taking on, and this is where it all bunches up, isn't it?
And this is where you really need it at half distance. You need to be taking these drink stops on as regular, well, certainly once every 20 minutes at least.
Robin Duvillard of France going through. Haven't seen much of the French at all in this race, but you sense, Mike, that this race has yet to unfold.
It is. There's the Swiss lads, and Semenov. I don't think Semenov went in to change his skis, but that's the 2 Swiss lads going in to change theirs, and I think that's Noah Hoffman as well. Oh, sorry, he changed last time. So the big names are all coming straight through, no ski change.
And now it's a Norwegian leader, Shirota, Semenov. Dura from Austria, that's a good run by him so far. Legjanin, look at this, 5 seconds. Decenta and Duvillard, France. Halvarsen, all within 10 seconds. Södergren not far behind. And Alex Harvey made a bit of progress into the top 20. Nusiainen, Freeman, 32nd place. Babikov, 30 seconds off the pace as well. But Peder Northug's in there. He's pulled 10 seconds back, David. He's still in 33rd position. Easy to do with all that concertinaing on the drink stop. 10 seconds, it's a lot, and that's the pace at ease that he can pull time back. So just about halfway, and this is the playing field there, and you can see how tightly packed they are, and this is so wide open at the moment. But Norway, apart from Peder Northug, this is Norway's Shirota as they go out now into the second 25,000 meters. Well, I wouldn't be confident about putting money on any of these at the moment, Mike, because it's such an open affair. It's an unusual outcome. It's unusual the way it has unfolded so far. Sundby said he would be strong, and for the first time he goes to the front. And Legkov always there. The only few regulars have been Legkov and of course Veljanin. Well, Legkov must have the constitution of an ox the way he races. I mean, it's really brutal to be up there. Sundby with fresh legs, you know, sometimes that happens. You get the flu, and if you allow enough time to rest and recover naturally, actually the rest really does you good. And he comes here, I think, with, you know, as you pointed out originally, with a really good chance. But here's Northug. He's pulling it back steadily and getting himself back involved in the race. You just feel, well, Northug, there he is. He's that 20 seconds is down to what, about 12 now. He's keeping an eye ahead of him on the yellow vest of Colonia, because he doesn't want Colonia to pick up 15 points if he doesn't pick up any. Yeah, I think it's now a question that he wants to get himself well positioned in the race. And, you know, he can do damage in 5 strides. How many times have we seen him come from the middle of the pack and he just comes up to the leader and says, hello, I'm still here. It's incredible how he does it. And he'll be he'll go round the edges, he skips around people, he's just got such easy movement on his skis. Sundby looking back, maybe he's saying, where's Northug? Roland Clara in 3rd place there for Italy. This is a man who can certainly do the distance. He was involved in the skiathlon and also the 15-kilometer freestyle race in Val di Fiemme. And once upon a time, you know, he really did threaten to do some big stuff on long distance races in major championships, but it hasn't happened. And he's come into today's competition ranked 29th in the World Cup rankings, and his best of the season was the runners-up spot in Canmore in the double pursuit, which is a little distant in the memory. But again, 8th in the 30-kilometer double pursuit in Sochi, the dress rehearsal, and top 15 in La Clusa just before the World Championships. So if the dice rolls well for him, he could get a good position out of this. And here comes Chanusov on the near side again, revitalized. Still the Belarusian in the background there with the red hat, still lurking around. He's racing above his form.
It's pretty good. And you know, whether I know the Belarus team have very little resource, but surely he's got skis to change. That's 2 rotations he hasn't changed the skis. The only man to do that. And
you know, Sven's just ahead of Peter Northug still.
Well done. And the pace that Sven went early with Södergren, it was incredible pace, turn of pace.
Sundby. And Peter Northug also knows that very well that he's not going to be done any favours by his Norwegian teammates. They are not racing for him, they are racing for themselves. And he knows that if he didn't know it before, he certainly found out at the World Championships in the skiathlon, because Sundby and Shirota were the 2 who made 2 very significant breaks.
That is so true, and there's a lot of the Norwegian flags up there, some regular names, some been brought into this one. Of course, the host nation can include more athletes in the field.
Chris Jespersen of Norway, wearing, I wouldn't say the first colours of the team, but it's a very Norwegian suit. He's in bib number 27, and Eliasson up there.
There's a lot of Italians, that's the other thing. You mentioned David Hofer, there's some other, Nukler, there's Clara, and of course Dicenta.
Bacichak, who was 30 seconds off, is now 15 seconds off. Ivan Babikov, used to be, of course, Russian. Took a long time to make the adjustment to get the 2 countries, Russia and Canada, to agree about the transfer fee. But he's had some good races, Babikov. And again, raced particularly well in the World Championships. There's a race that's sticking in my mind, and he was right up there with a medal chance. Babikov in the World Championships, yeah, 4th in the 15-kilometer freestyle individual trial, and that's one of the best races we've seen from him.
He's and I think the longer distance favours Babikov. Yeah, I remember once in the Tour de Ski, he had the fastest final day, actually, the 10-kilometer, most of it up the huge downhill ski slope on Chermis.
Sundby up front, Norway. Legkov. Then wearing 10, that's Clara. Then Cologne. And then 49. That looks like the Austrian. Is that Dur?
Johannes Dur, yeah.
Johannes Dur.
He's been there or thereabouts, David, all the time. He's just a man that hasn't put himself out of the top 15. The pace is on now for these bonus sprint points, and the Cologne surely will be wanting to. Why is Sundby slowed it down? That is very strange.
Yeah, Johannes Dur.
Sundby won't want to be taking up points if Northug's in the nearness.
So Legkov, it looks good for 15 point. Well, Cologne, who got there first? I thought Legkov had got there first as well. I thought Cologne actually mistimed that. Could have got there, but he mistimed that, and he's given away 3 points to Legkov. Why does that matter? Because Legkov's ahead of Cologne in the distance crystal globe. So it's another little, that's a little point for Legkov there.
It is, but look who's not in those extra points. This man, Petter Northug. So that's a little advantage to Cologne now, so it must level out really. So those 23 points, it must be back up to 23 or more advantage for Cologne in the World Cup overall.
Yeah, I think on this day we needed a statistician or accountant with us in